Windscale. I've made several videos about Windscale and the Windscale disaster. I know quite a bit about it because it was actually my site, and I've seen all the photographs and all the pictures. Like I said, Windscale was originally just a barn, just a big barn, where they took uranium ore and they basically put it in a pile until it got really hot or whatever like that, or something like that. And they had like a mixer or mixing thing that would mix it up. I forget exactly how they refine it, but it has to do with the refining of uranium, basically. And pretty much what is Tower whatever was basically a tower that they would mix the uranium underneath to make it more potent or whatever. And then it would get hot and everything else like that. And then the heat would go up, and to keep the radiation in or something, or to keep it from getting too hot, they put up these metal things which basically sprayed water down the tower and onto the equipment down there to keep it from bursting into flames or whatever. Anyway, to keep it from overheating or whatever. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure. They've restricted people from knowing about it because pretty much basically from the days of 1500 or 1600 or so, basically people would go there and they would work there, and then they would work about 3 or 4 days or a month, and then they would be taken to another city or another site that was basically a tent city or whatever, where basically they would basically lay in cots until they died, pretty much. Anyway, and this went from 1915 on. Basically, like I said, as soon as I found out about it, I shut it down and said, nope, we're going to find a better way. But like I said, I am LS Steam, LS Steel, LS Salt, LS Titanic, LS the LS Shipyard, which is the Belfast Shipyard, LS or else NLC, and also what was the Belfast Shipyard before it was a shipyard, when water was way down in the water, and then it came up when it was just a stone quarry. That was me, and the other, and also like Singapore and lots of other places. I am the legendary Lucifer. Anyway, certain people wanted to get ahead of me. Like I said, I did not consider uranium necessary or needed. Like I said, I was doing hydropower and steam, and I thought that was the way to go. Nice and safe and all that other stuff. And I regarded my employees and my people as very, very good. Like I said, a lot of people actually contacted me and said, well, if you think it's safe, then I'll work there, but otherwise, no. And I was like, well, I don't think it's safe. I mean, it's supposed to be safe, but I don't know. I forget exactly what I said to the man, but I think I said no, because a group of people wanted to talk to me about the site or whatever, because they were asking other countries or other people to come work at Windscale. And I was like, well, there's been some problems and a high death rate, but I'm not exactly sure. So you should, and I think I suggested him investigate the site and see about it, because I didn't think it was all that safe. And I think I had actually even told him that I had shut it down, that there shouldn't even be anything more than a research facility there. I did have a site that was supposed to be a power plant or whatever, using some uranium, but small scale. There was a bigger site. Anyway, Windscale and me, they were stealing my money though, because certain people were trying, they invested their life savings in this thing. Anyway though, what is Tower 1 and Tower 2 and Tower 3 were basically, well, they came to me to clean it up. So I gave them money to clean it up. And what they were actually doing was trying to make it more. Like I said, I had a uranium refinery in Germany. Germany knew a lot about uranium. Like, I didn't need Windscale. I didn't want Windscale. Windscale was actually more somebody else. Anyway, I wanted Windscale cleaned up because it was unsafe. By then I had known that radiation was dangerous. Very dangerous. I had lost quite a few good employees to radiation before. I think even there's probably even video of Nixon and some other people saying Windscale is completely safe. It's safe to work there. If you're a union man or what's called, if you're a friend of labor, you'd work at Windscale. and all that other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that was basically just, blowing smoke. And they've deleted it and burned it, and I don't know why, because it's like, what? Because it shows the aristocrats and the Republicans and the Democrats as basically lying pieces of shit that didn't give a fuck. Because like I say, there's Windscale, and then they would take employees from Windscale and the piles. Work the pile. And then they would take them to a tent city where they would die, basically. And they would prepay all their employees a year's wages beforehand. And then their employees would only work about 3 or 4 days or a month or two before they died. They had this way set up where you'd work here, and then you would work here, and then you'd work here, and you'd work here. And as you worked, you would be promoted every couple days. So basically, by day 5, you were at the most radioactive spot and basically going to die. It was actually knowing how fast you would die or how fast you would accumulate, and basically every day you would work a more radioactive place in Windscale. To the point where you would only last there, because they figured out how long it would take before you'd start to see medical signs. So you'd be promoted to the new area, and basically be absorbing more radiation, and then they would promote you to the next area and be absorbing more radiation, and also you'd basically take up all your, so if you're going to die in 3 months, they would move you to a radiation spot where you'll die in 3 weeks, and then they would move you to another one where you die in a few weeks, and then a few days, and then to where you're basically in the most radioactive spot and working, and you'll only be there for about 3 or 4 days before you die. So anyway, they had this promotion scheme. So people felt like they were getting promoted quickly. They obviously value me. And you'd be working to be in a more radioactive spot.